Are you ready to talk about anti-aging?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Ask the Beauty Advisor, a podcast that answers your health and beauty questions. Hosted by health and beauty advisor, Deanna Lynn.
Hey there, thank you for joining me today for Ask the Beauty Advisor. Today I have a special guest for you. We're going to be talking with Dr. Chau Phan. Dr. Phan is a brand new author, and she's going to be sharing her book with us today, Age Gracefully, Make the Right Decisions for Your Skin. Dr. Phan currently owns and runs her own successful pharmacy. She has developed a unique process of assessing skin and providing custom solutions, helping people all over the world achieve a healthier state for their skin. Now, before we tune into that interview I had with Dr. Phan, I just want to let you know I did send out November's newsletter, so check your inbox. If you haven't signed up for my monthly newsletter yet, you can do so and receive a free download. Over the years, I have collected various do-it-yourself beauty treatments, and I have put together a collection of my very favorite to send out to all my new email subscribers. So if you'd like to subscribe and get that free download, you can text me the word skin, S-K-I-N, text that to this number, 444999. That's 3 4s and 3 9s. Text me the word skin. I'll respond by asking you for your email address. Text me back your email address. Then keep an eye out because I will be sending that free download to your inbox shortly. If you are listening to this podcast on iTunes, you can click on the cover art and there is a sign up link right there in the show notes. You don't even have to leave iTunes. You don't have to miss a word of the podcast. You can sign up right there in the show notes. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and get today's show started. Hello, Dr. Phan. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Deanna. I'm glad to be here.
Dr. Phan, it really is our pleasure to have you on today. And let's go ahead and get started. And I think it would be best to start with you maybe explaining to the audience what your professional talents are and, well, tell us what you're the most proud of.
Sure. So my name is Dr. Chau Phan, and I am a pharmacist. I specialize in customized skincare and skin diseases. And what I'm most proud of is because my son had horrible eczema when he was born, and since I have a background in research and pharmacology, I was able to help formulate a cream that helps his eczema without having to rely too much on the steroid cream that he needed to use before. So that was my biggest accomplishment, I think, so far, that I'm proud of.
So you actually developed a cream for your son's eczema so he wouldn't have to rely on steroids. Wonderful. Now, you also just recently published a book, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about your book here today. Can you tell us something about your book?
Yes, the book that I just published is called Age Gracefully, Make the Right Decisions for Your Skin. And it started with, me trying to find my own anti-aging creams and my whole journey and being part of, specializing in skin and skin disease. So it prompted to me to write this book.
So because of your own journey and trying to sift through all the information and all the skincare out there, you were inspired to write this book to help other people. Who did you write this book for? Who would get the most benefits from reading this book?
This book is meant for everybody who just wants to learn about, how to take care of their skin and how to prevent and reverse skin aging. So that's what the book is meant for. Growing up and just being here, I don't think I've ever seen kind of like a manual for, teaching people how to take care of their skin. There are a lot of publications out there on the internet, but, there's no like a book that just teaches you step by step on how to take care of your skin as you age.
Right. Now, I find that even though there has been a lot of skincare books written, most of them say exactly the same thing. They may say it in a different way or use different wording, but basically they all say the same thing. So I think what makes your book a little bit more unique is that you really do give step-by-step instructions on how to take care of your skin as you age. Could you possibly share with us a few tips on how to prevent or treat aging skin? How would you advise us to prevent or treat our aging skin?
Yes. So, there are two different approaches, obviously. One is you wanted to prevent your skin from aging in the first place so you don't get all the wrinkles. And so that is a different approach than reversing the signs of aging, because when you have, wrinkles and blemishes and age spots, then you want to get rid of those things, right? So the approach to preventing skin aging is you want to make sure, you do a lot of lifestyle changes since you're young, like put on sunscreen, avoiding what we call like external factors, because there are two types of skin aging. So let's talk about prevention first. So since there are two types of skin aging, one is called intrinsic and one is called extrinsic aging. So with intrinsic aging, that's just the natural progression of life where as you age, your whole body is gonna deteriorate in a way. So it's a natural progression. Your hormones change, and so all those things will play into factor. Then it's called intrinsic aging. Extrinsic aging are things that are externally causing the aging of your skin, like the sun, UV rays, the extreme temperatures, the lack of sleep. Stress can also cause lack of water, dehydration, smoking, also pollution. All those things can cause extrinsic aging. And those are things that you can take control of and prevent. So in my book, I will go into more details on, what is skin aging, what types they are, and how to prevent it. So that way you can make sure you don't age prematurely. Now, the next step is, now if you have, wrinkles already, you already have all those signs of aging, what do you do? And so my book goes into details about how to reverse the signs of aging. Lifestyle changes could be, done as well to help with that, better diet and things like that. And then also how to choose the right products with the right ingredients for your skin. There are so many products out there, and when you get to a certain age, you'll be like, I'll pay for anything to get rid of my wrinkles or get rid of all these blemishes. But you don't want to just pick a product based on the marketing or the packaging, but you want to pick the product on knowing what ingredient is best to treat that problem. So my book goes into details on what ingredients to use for your problems as well.
Now, when you say lifestyle changes, could you give us some examples? What could we do? Share with us a few examples of what we could do easily to make some lifestyle changes.
Absolutely. Yes. I think one of the things that I practice every day, and I think is really good for your skin, is to eat right. And I know that, everybody says that, but what I do is I just make a green smoothie, and that includes mixed greens, carrots, berries, freshly squeezed orange juice, and flaxseed. And then sometimes I add an avocado in there. But so that way, I mix everything in one, and I put them in these mason jars, and then I freeze them. And then I just pull them out every day, and I drink that. And that would give you, because it contains all the great antioxidants, all the vitamins A, C, all the vitamins you need. And just by doing that alone every day, your skin you'll see a difference in your skin, and it'll be glowing. And another lifestyle change that anyone can do is just to drink a lot of water. Keep yourself hydrated, because your skin is, when it's hydrated, it's going to look youthful and, moisturized. And So those are the two tips that I would highly recommend.
Oh, getting enough water is definitely the easiest and hardest lifestyle change. Well, it is for me anyway. For some reason, I just forget to drink water. I don't really like water, I guess. I don't like drinking water, so I forget about it. But water is amazing. And when I do make an effort to drink the water I'm supposed to, it makes a big difference, especially for me. I have under eye dark circles. It really flushes those toxins out. So that's definitely something I need to work on. Now, you say you specialize in skin diseases and the prevention of eczema and acne. How does one prevent eczema and acne?
Well, so I actually treat eczema and acne. Prevention, eczema, there are so many factors causing it. You can't really prevent it. However, my cream that, like I just mentioned earlier, it helps with maintaining hydration, very good hydration of your skin. And so when I formulated my cream, I made sure to formulate it based on what caused, eczema and what happened to the skin when they have eczema. So my formula, specifically targets that part. And when you use that, then you don't have as much flare-up and your skin is not as dry. So then your eczema won't get exacerbated, like it doesn't get worse. If you do have flare-ups for eczema, you still need to use steroid creams, just like what the doctor prescribed. But by using a very good moisturizer and knowing what to use for your skin and how to take care of it, then yes, you can help prevent the flare-up as much as possible. In terms of acne, again, acne, there are so many causes of acne. So if you get to the bottom of what causes acne, like for example, like adolescent teen kids, they, because of the change in hormone, they're kind of always constantly getting pimples and things like that. So you try to minimize things that could make their acne worse and hopefully help them with that. But if they have acne, I actually created a cream as well, which is very gentle base that helps with decreasing the amount of acne breakout they have as well.
Now, in this first book that you've written, do you give detailed information about treating eczema as well as acne?
No, my book more is for anti-aging. Maybe that will be another project in the future.
So then this first book is just focused on anti-aging.
Yes, this is my first book. And so I just mainly focus on anti-aging, and that was a lot of things to say already. So
Right.
I think each topic itself probably requires a different book.
I agree. Anti-aging is such a big topic. There's so much information out there. It's just overwhelming. So it makes sense that you would focus on anti-aging alone.
Yes.
Dr. Phan, why do you feel it's so important that people understand their own individual skin type and needs?
Well, because everyone's different. Just like, you could have oily skin, sensitive skin, dry skin, combination skin, so everybody has different skin type. And on top of that, everyone ages differently depending on your lifestyle. Are you a smoker? Are you not a smoker? Do you live in a polluted area or you don't live in a polluted area? So everyone's lifestyle changes. So of course, the right cream that's good for you may not be the right one for your neighbor or vice versa. So that's why it's important to understand what is going on with your own skin. Then you can learn how to pick the right skincare for yourself.
I found it interesting that in your book you mentioned that climate can have a lot to do with how we choose skincare, that climate changes and even the weather as to where we live can be an influence on how we pick our skincare. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Okay. So if you're in the desert, of course, it's going to be hot, humid, and it's going to be super sunny, correct? Mm-hmm. So, so when it's extreme temperature like that, when it's super hot, your body's going to have an evaporation. So you're most likely going to get dehydrated. On top of that, you're going to have, so your skin is going to be dry because it's dehydrated. And then on top of that, it's sunny. So you're going to expose yourself to radiation. So for me, if I were to live in like, in an area where it's hot, sunny, I would have to use a cream that is very moisturizing. And also, I need to hydrate. You need to learn to hydrate yourself very well. Drink lots of water and keeping up to those habits, and then wearing sunscreen, protecting your skin from the sun way more than people who live in an area where it's not as hot and it's not as sunny. So if you move to the East Coast and let's say it's more windy, but it's not as hot and it's not as humid, then you would want to, so you don't need to rehydrate yourself so much. You won't lose that much water. You still need to use sunscreen, but the thing is to use what kind of cream, it depends on also like what type of skin you have. If you have oily skin, then you don't want to use cream or ointment type of moisturizer because those are very moisturizing and they contain a lot of oil in them already, so it'll make it worse. And it could probably like cause you to have breakout. But if you have super dry skin, then you need to use cream. But if you have really, really dry skin, then you want to use ointment. So, and for people who already have acne problem, you want to limit yourself to maybe using only lotion or gel. So that's the difference between, the environment and what type of skin you have.
I'm really glad that you brought this up and you wrote about this because it's something that a lot of people don't realize, that the weather conditions and their environment can really affect the way their skin reacts. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So now tell us your own struggles. I know I read this in your book, and without giving your book away, tell us of your story of how you struggled to find the right skincare for your own personal use.
Yes, my story was, I come from Vietnam. I came to the U.S. when I was 10 years old. And in Vietnam, that was during I was born as a post-Vietnam War baby. So at that time, there was a huge change in the government and everything. So Vietnam was really poor. So we didn't have any food to eat, let alone having skincare, worrying about your skin. So when I come over here, I didn't know nothing about skincare and using sunscreen and protecting and all that stuff, all the way until I became a pharmacist. And that was when I started turning 29, 30. And I was like, I started noticing these little fine lines around my eyes. And I said, okay, I need to look for an anti-aging cream. At the time, I didn't know, what to choose. There were so many products out there. And then I saw on TV a supermodel sponsored infomercial, and I thought, wow, she looks so pretty. If it works for her, it's going to work for me. So I picked up the phone and actually called to try to buy the product. And then in the midst of it, I realized that, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I'm a pharmacist. I also have a pharmacology research background, so I should look into what's the best skincare for myself. And so I didn't end up buying that product through the phone. And then I went on this like crazy journey trying to find the right ingredient for my anti-aging, cream. Once I got a sense of, what kind of ingredients that will help me with my wrinkles, then the next challenge is finding which products have those ingredients that I want. And that's another challenge in itself because there are so many products out there and there's so many, and they don't have it all in one place. They would have in different bottles. So that means I have to put like 4 or 5 things on my face. And I said, well, I don't have time for that. I'm pretty low maintenance. So I didn't want to do that. So that was a struggle in itself. And so finally, I just decided to choose a product that had the best ingredient I thought was fit my skin at the moment, and just went with it because I didn't want to use like 4 or 5 bottles. That was too much. So that was my own skincare struggle to find the right thing. But now that I have my own pharmacy and I do customized skincare, I'm able to add all those ingredients into one bottle. And so it makes my life so much easier. So yes.
Dr. Phan, in your personal opinion, do you feel that high-end or expensive anti-aging creams are far superior than something that we might purchase in a drugstore? Tell us what you think about this.
Well, the difference is not where you buy it, not how much you purchase it for, or not even the packaging, but what's the ingredients in there. So it could be the same thing or it could be different. And if they're different, then, and if those ingredients are expensive to get, then yes, some bottles could be expensive, but the consumers don't know to look into the ingredient list and to determine for themselves if it's good ingredients or not, and if it's appropriate for their skin. So then they end up just buying whatever, and them thinking that maybe if I spend more money, I'll get a higher quality cream, but that's not necessarily true. So you would have to look at the ingredients list on those bottles and compare. Really, you have to, or else you're just going to get tricked by all the infomercial or the packaging or the marketing out there.
Well, there are a handful of anti-aging ingredients that are very effective. Now, before we run out of time, real quickly here, can you name some of the top effective anti-aging ingredients that we should be looking for when we purchase a skincare product?
Sure, absolutely. So the best one is, I would say, vitamin A, which is retinol. There's different forms of retinol, vitamin A as well. There's the retinol esters, like retinol palmitate. There's also another one that's really great, and it's hard to come by, and it's called retinaldehyde. And so those are all the family: retinol, retinaldehyde, and retinol esters. Those are all part of the vitamin A family that is really great for reversing the signs of aging. And another one that I would recommend are the peptides. The peptides are what, they stimulate the skin to produce more collagen. So, and it's not just any peptides. So don't be fooled by the word peptides. There need to be, there's certain peptides called like palmitoyl pentapeptide. Those are the ones that will help stimulate the collagen production. Not all peptides do that. So just watch out for that.
Now, vitamin C is very complicated, and we could do a whole show on that. But I have used some vitamin C products that worked so amazingly and were so efficient at evening out skin tones, giving me a little lift under my eyes. A lot of times they'll start out being really good, and then they'll change color. And from that point, they don't seem to be very effective. Vitamin C in a stable form also seems to be extremely expensive. Do you have anything that you could share with us about the cosmetic ingredient vitamin C?
Yes, it's not stable. That's why actually I do what I do, because if you make a fresh batch, then you can use the good active form right away. But if you leave it on the shelf, it's going to get oxidized quickly. So for places that are selling them as products and leaving them on the shelf, the shelf life of those products don't last very long, because vitamin C is not very stable. And you don't need to spend an arm and a leg to get vitamin C. You just have to, know where to find it. But vitamin C does get oxidized quickly, and it does leave you with a sticky feeling. So some people don't like it, and if you have sensitive skin, it can irritate you too. So depending on the person who's an appropriate candidate for vitamin C, not everyone can do it.
Well, we could talk a lot about cosmetic ingredients. I can see that's your specialty. So we really need to have you back on about that. But real quickly here, I want to talk about something that is really confusing to a lot of consumers, and that's sunscreens. How much SPF do we need? What are SPFs? What kind of information can you give us about sunscreens?
So SPF stands for sun protection factor. So it only tells you how much UVB gets filtered out. It doesn't tell you how much UVA protection there are. That's why when you go out there and buy sunscreen, you want to use a broad spectrum sunscreen. That's the number one thing. Broad spectrum sunscreen, and if you want to choose an SPF factor, you want to do 30 to 50. That's enough. You don't need to be 70, SPF 70 or 80. it doesn't give you much more, protection as the 50. So don't waste your money. Don't spend too much money on SPF 70. You want to do SPF 30 to 50. That's good enough. You want to get a UV A and UVB protection. So you want to look for broad spectrum. And this is all in my book too, by the way. I mean, I go into really, really detail. And I also in the book, I tell you which ingredients are UVB protection, UVA protection. For kids, you want to use the physical sunscreen, which are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. For adults, you can go for the chemical sunscreens, and those, it gets absorbed into your skin, protect your skin from the UV rays, but they're not physical sunscreen, and those can cause more irritation than the physical sunscreen. But the nice thing about that is that they don't, zinc oxide actually causes you to look like a ghost. That's why some sunscreen makes you look horrible. So that's where the money difference is also. So cosmetic companies that have those chemical sunscreen in them, they charge very expensive, but it doesn't mean that it provides you better coverage.
I think that's why now these BB creams have become so popular, because they're actually just tinted sunscreens. And then also makeup now has sunscreen protection in it.
Right. But the BB cream, again, you would have to look at the ingredient in that BB cream, like which ingredient they're using to say that they're helping you protect you from the sun, and if it's UVA or UVB protection. And another thing is, how much do they put in there? Like what's the percentage that they're putting in there? They can claim that it has sunscreen, but if they only put a certain small percentage, what good does that do for you, right? So,
absolutely. Okay, so one more question before we get bumped off of here. In your book, you say, and I quote, "Anti-aging is not a pipe dream." That's a very powerful statement. So tell us, why do you believe that to be true?
Yes, absolutely. So based in my book, I tell you what causes aging, and what is the skin. So once you know the basic of the skin, the makeup of the skin, and then why does it look youthful, and then how does wrinkles occur, once you know those causes, then you can counteract those causes, right? So that's why it's really not a dream. Granted, you cannot reverse a 69-year-old and make her look like she's 21 again, but you can definitely do some things to help reverse the signs of aging. And if you're not aging yet, or you're going to age soon, you can do things to your body and your skin that helps it to age gracefully and still, have a youthful, like healthy looking skin. And in my book, I talked about intrinsic and extrinsic aging. So intrinsic is something you cannot, that's just your natural progression of age, and things start breaking down, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then the extrinsic aging, like external factors that you can definitely do now that prevent those extrinsic aging external factors. So yeah, definitely, it's not a dream. Those things can be achieved. And I always hear people say, "Wow, those Korean people, they have really nice skin." But you know what? It's because since they're young, they already know how to take care of their skin. That's why they all have nice skin. It's not because it's just they're being Korean that they know how. It's just it's in their culture to take care of their skin ever since they're young. And we need to start doing that here in the U.S.
Dr. Phan's new book is entitled Age Gracefully, Making the Right Decisions for Your Skin. Well, Dr. Phan, it's been a pleasure having you on today. It's a very interesting topic. We'll have to have you back. Congratulations on your new book. And before you go, where can people find you, and how can they get their hands on your new book?
Yes, so my website is www.pleasantcarepharmacy.com, and they can go there and they can have me help them with a customized skincare that I can make for them based on their skin needs. And so it's just one bottle for the specific person. It's not multiple bottles. And for my book, it's going to be on Amazon, and it's going to be available as paperback as well as a Kindle version. And it's called age gracefully, make the right decisions for your skin. It goes into details with all the ingredients I just talked about too. So, whoever the reader will read it, I will give you all the ingredients you need to know for moisturizers, for sunscreen, for anti-aging, vitamin C. I go into really great details about all those things. So it's really good book to read.
Great. Good luck with your book, and thank you again for coming on.
Thank you so much, Deanna. I really appreciate you having me on.
You can find Dr. Chau Phan's book on Amazon. There's also a direct link right in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Until next time, take care.
Ask the Beauty Advisor is a part of the Beauty Radio Network. If you have a podcast or need help in starting a podcast and would like to be a part of a free, supportive network, then learn more by contacting Deanna at beautyradionetwork.com.